All right, it's time to actually cut our truss members. You'll need 2 sticks of balsa wood. You'll need to grab an X-Acto knife from the set, which you'll put back when you get done. A little piece of sandpaper can be helpful, and you'll need some Elmer's glue. I'm going to go ahead and put a little dollop of glue here at the top of my page. You don't need much, just about a dime size should be enough for this truss. Honestly, that's probably even too much. So the way we're going to lay this out is what's really nice about our setup here is we can just line our members up with the line. Okay, now I'm lining my bottom edge up. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's do the top edge actually. We'll give ourselves a little more height there. So I'm going to line my top edge up. Now what I like to do is I like to take my X-Acto knife, come over here to where I need to make a cut, and just press in slightly so that I get a little mark in my balsa. Hopefully you can kind of see it right there. Now once I have that marked out, I press in a little bit, and I like to make 3 cuts. So I don't do the last side, I press through. Now you want to, this stuff is obviously super easy to cut. What you want to avoid is having a cut that ends up splintering up the wood. Now you can see here I've cut and there's a little splinter sticking out. Sometimes you can just get that off. If you want to make sure your cuts are nice and smooth, just rub it like gentler than you would even use like an eraser on this sandpaper here. You can kind of smooth down the edge of your member. Now this is going to sit right on the bottom here, and it's cut to the perfect length. Now I can use a couple of my pins here that we should have sitting around the room, and if I kind of keep the member exactly where I want it, I can pin it into the cardboard. I'm not pushing through the balsa, I'm just kind of pushing at an angle like this so that it can't move. I'll do 2 on the other side as well. Pin it exactly where you want it. Again, the more careful you are with all of these little steps, the better your truss will be constructed. You can see now that I can't really move this much. Now let's go ahead and cut. So this piece, I recommend keeping this in your kit. It might come in handy when you're building your cantilevered truss system. So don't waste any wood. All right, you could be wishing you had that later. So now we'll make our cuts here. I'm going to start with one of them. I'm going to line it up along my line, right up to the angle there. And you'll notice I kind of have it set on top of the wood here. And I'm going to press in at the angle so that it will sit flat. See if you can see that here. I'll draw it with my pencil. Okay. Hello. So that's my angle that's going to sit flat on this piece. Now a little word of advice, I recommend giving yourself an extra millimeter or so, or maybe an extra like 1/16 of an inch. A lot of times if you try to cut them exactly to size, you end up being a little too short, and there's just no way to make your balsa wood any longer, right? But you can always cut it back a little bit. So now I'm going to cut along that angle, and I can do my 3 sides method. Just give it a little bit of help on the sides here. Cut that at a slight angle too. You're just trying to avoid any splintering. Sometimes it helps to go to the other side once you can see it. You'll find some members are a little tougher than others. See, that's kind of what it looks like. It's a little splintery. I can kind of rub it on my sandpaper, smooth it down, and now that member should sit pretty nicely right there.